What's up, YouTube family? Gerald Greenlee here with Clean and Green Lawn Service in beautiful South Georgia. Hey, hope y'all having a great day today. It is Friday, day after Thanksgiving here. You'll probably get this, I guess, Saturday, maybe. So I'm over at the new place. It's mist and rain, and we have a number of projects to do today. One of them is going to be installing a Larson storm door. Larson storm door. Now, this is not going to be like the other one I installed. I had one that got like 21,000 views. It was one of the really nice full glass storm doors. This is going to be one of the cheaper vinyl storm doors. Well, I say cheaper. It is somewhat cheaper, but it has a pet access door in it. So it has a dog door in it. And let me get the trailer turned around, backed in, and we'll talk about what we have for today. All right, so just a quick overview of what we have going on. What in the world is this? Am I already getting packages here? My wife has already got an Amazon package here. Can't make this stuff up, man. Anyway, if y'all been following what I have done, is I put this fence down here, then close this in out here. I still got to put my T-post in there. And I'm putting, this is going to be a 32 by 80 Larson door with a pet door in the bottom. And so this is going to be where the dogs can come in and out, right? And I hope it's not going to be an issue up that step there for them. But anyway, doesn't matter now because I've already paid $300 and something for the door. So it's going to go right in here. And so that's the purpose behind it. So let me get the trailer open up, get this thing unboxed, and then we'll talk about it. All right, and unboxing, this is what it looks like. You got your pet door. You got the lock for the pet door in here. And you got your sweep that goes on the bottom. It's right here, so you can just, hard to hold the camera and do this. Here's our frame right here. Like I said, on the back side here, we have for the pet door. All right, so what this is, you can slide this in on the inside of the door to lock it, just like a traditional pet door that you would put in. All right, so let me give you a couple of, you got your paperwork, your specs are going to be in here. For example, I am doing a 32 by 81, and so you want a rough opening. If you don't want to shim it or anything, you want a 31 7/8 to 32. If you get bigger than that, you'll need some shims, and then your length's going to need to be 80 to 81 inches. Again, this is a 32 by 81. Length would stay the same on any width door. But, you know, if you go up to a 36, you just want your opening a little smaller than your door, obviously. So you can look all that up online at Lowe's or whatever. I do know my opening is good. I shouldn't really need any shims. This is a left hand or right hand door. You can hinge it on either side. You know, I'm obviously going to hinge mine on the same side the existing door is. And yeah, I know I need to paint all that too. But I'm gonna, and I need a pressure wash, but I'm gonna hinge it over on this side. And so let's get started with oh, also in the box you get here's your lock hardware, and this box here I'm pretty sure is gonna have your cylinder in it that closes it, and all of your screws. Like I said, I have I put up several of these before, but it's been a while. Yeah, so there you go. It's gonna be your mountain screws, your chain kit, and your cylinders for open and close. So all that's in there. These are gonna be the shims that go on the bottom of your door rails or your frame. That way you can slide these down and close in, slide them all the way to the threshold. So anyway, we'll talk about that. In a little bit. So first thing we want to do is we're going to get our hinge rail hung up, and we're going to go ahead and put a screw in. It's just going to temporarily hold it into into place. It's going to be for once we put it together that we can slide the whole door up there and let it rest on it, and then put our screws in there. So we'll go ahead and do that real quick. Pretty good instructions, tells you exactly what to use to do it with, you know, what screws and all. So let's go. All right, I got what we call our placeholder screw in there. See, just sticks out a little bit. That's the closest hole to the top. It's a funny shaped hole, as you can see there. But it's going to allow me, when the door is on, I'll be able to slide it in, and it's going to support the weight of the door. So I'm not over here trying to hold the door in and get a screw, you know, out here trying to get a screw in this to secure it, right? So that's the purpose in that. So now that we got this, we're going to set our door up on the table, and we're going to mount the hinge to the door. All right, now this is a part that can get just a little bit confusing when you start doing this. So you know the top of your door is here. Obviously you can look at the glass and all, but down, I don't know, about 6 inches, you're going to have a screw down about 1 inch, and about another 6 inches you got a screw. That is to mark where your hinge goes. And it would not matter which side you were hinging it on, you would have that. Now again, we're hinging on this side. Now what can be a little bit confusing looking at this is telling, okay, which way do I put this? Well, the inside of the door has all your controls on it. So this is where you can lock it at. This is where you do your window. So you know that this piece is going to go, the felt is going to go against the door. This felt under here, right? And I'm sorry about the camera. So that means if you got it like that, then you know this hinge has to go here, but that hinge has got to be folded under like that, okay? So what's going to happen, oh goodness, is we're going to take this screw out. Let me flip this hinge up. I need an extra hand to be able to show y'all this, honestly. So we're going to do just like that right there. That's going to be our starter, right? And let me get that pinned in there and I'll show you what we're talking about. I'll just let y'all run for a second while we do that, so I can show you. It's really not that hard, but it can just be a little bit confusing. But I'm going to show you. Oh no, I think it's starting to rain. So let me show you what you're looking for once you get it mounted. All right, so once you get it mounted, see I got that there. This is going to hang over the top just a little bit for your drip trim and all. And it closes in with the felt. See the felt right here goes against your door. So the rest of these we're going to pre-drill out using the drill bit that they tell us to. I'm not going to give you that drill bit size on the door. It's on the paperwork. They could have different size screws in some of them, so I'll let you look at your paperwork for that. So, and I hope we can get this before the rain starts. One of the things you want to make sure that you do before you start drilling all these, make sure all these hinges are flipped this way. You don't want to get them under there where you can't flip them back. So I got one on this end and I got the one down there. Now I will show you on the paperwork, just so when I'm drilling for the hinges on my door, I'm to use a 1/8 drill bit, okay, for the number 8 screws that are in there. Now again, you probably want to, I think all these I've done have been the same, but particularly if you're doing a different company or something, you're going to want to check that. So all we're going to do is go through here like this. And it's got a metal rail, and then inside of there it's wood. So I'm just going through the metal. And inside this little hardware packet, we're wanting to use the unpainted 1-inch number 8s. Just show y'all here. There we go. All right, so we get the rest of these drilled out and on. All right, now you have this little pack that's got these extensions. They go on the bottom of the rail. They are marked left and right. They have a L and a R on them. They'll only go on one way. So you just want to get that on there. Oh, I ain't got it all the way on. These can be a little aggravating. Well, I'm not going to be able to do it with one hand. But anyway, you see they just slide on there. I'll show you when it's on. And all I do is basically slide it all the way up. What this is going to be, this needs to sit down on your threshold. So when you get done, you can pull this back down out here, and it will sit on your threshold. So you won't have a gap. Now they do offer some little pieces of felt in this packet that you can cut and put in there. I'll be honest, I've never worried about those. So, all right. So now that we got this door, and this door here is probably, I don't know, 60 pounds. I mean, it's not super light, and it's kind of awkward. You got glass in it. Now, earlier I marked the hole up there, and it's going to be closed like this, but I put a screw right here at the top. That's going to be that screw that we put in the brick molding, in this case, up there. So what I'm going to do is take the door around, and I'm going to hang it on that screw, and it's going to give me a good place. It's going to give me a good place to be able to hang it up there and let that support the weight. I'm going to see if this camera will stay here. I don't know if it will or not. All right, go grab my other screws, and we're going to hang this up there. All right, see here, got my drill and my other screws. And there we go, right there. This definitely helps if you have an extra hand. All right, so we got it tacked in place. Just like that, and we will actually put, you actually put 4 screws in here. That's just going to be 4 of these white screws, and it tells you to pre-drill it, what I'm going into. I don't need to do that. It would not hurt, but now you can kind of look See what our gap looks like there. Looks pretty even. Our gap down this side looks pretty even. And now this is what I was telling you about over here. See how you have this gap right here? I done tightened the door. I'm gonna probably have to loosen it back up, but you slide this down and it closes that end. I got some caulking or something on there that's in the way, but like I said, I've already yeah, I'll have to loosen the bottom of that door back up to do that, but we'll take care of that. Next thing we're going to do is get our rails and our top input on, and what we're going to want to do on finishing them is we're going to want this part to hit that felt. We want it to hit that felt. So in here, if we need to, we'll slide it in some and just make sure that it does. So let me go get those parts. All right, now we're going to want to install the drip cap. And the main thing with it is you want to make sure it's hitting this piece of felt, and you want a consistent gap on it. And what I do is install the end down by the rail first, then I'm going to push my door to, and I just want to make sure I got that same gap all the way across. Remember, I told you that this rail sticks up a little past the door, and the purpose of that is for this drip cap to sit on it, so it creates about an 1/8 inch of a gap. And so what we want is that gap all the way across. And if you can see in there, you can see it's hitting the felt as it goes in. So that's what you're looking for. And then we just have to put our other rail on, which is going to go down this side, and actually this gap ends up being a little bit big. You're going to be okay, but we're going to want to keep that gap the same all the way down. So I'm going to set the camera down and get it pinned up, and I'll show you. All right, let me show y'all something here on this rail extension. See how I just pull that down? See, that's got a gap. Pull it down. I'm gonna do that before I set this bottom. So all right, now I went ahead and finished putting all the screws around the outside frame, and there we go. We are hung now. What'll be left is to put our handle on. Got to put our sweep on the bottom. That sweep will close in that gap between this and the threshold, and then we have to put on our safety chain that keeps it from flinging way open if the wind catches it, and also that would destroy the shock that we're going to put on it, so if it swung way open. So for some reason this one does have just, it's not really any pressure, it just naturally wants to hang out a little, but the good news is the closure cylinder should take care of that. So all right, on the sweep here, it just clamps over the bottom. You're gonna see I cut a piece off of mine. Mine was wanting to hit in here and push it out too far. Really all we're doing on this is we're trying to make sure that it at least somewhat. Now you can't get these so tight the door doesn't necessarily want to close right too. It's one thing. So you push it down on there. And see, that's about, just want to kind of snug it down on there. And then you got a hole here with a slot. You got one of those on both ends. What I like to do, and that right there is creating a little bind for me. I don't know if you can see that right here. So probably what I need to do is just go ahead and shave that off. So I'm gonna mark it with a knife. But then the only other thing you're gonna do is I put my screws in the center of those slots once I think I got it adjusted like I want, and then you can move it up and down at least a little bit then to help with some final adjustments on it. You can cut this stuff with a utility knife. That's probably one of the most unsafe ways that you could cut it. So, you know, however you choose to cut it. I just got me a line scored there. I'm gonna go get my snips now. All right, with our particular application, normally the closure would go down here below the glass, but because we have a pet door, it goes up top. So what we gotta do is come off the door jamb, or off the door 1/4 of an inch with this bracket, and so that's going to put us up here like this, and basically a 1/4 inch off the door for me would be flush right there with because I already have a gap between here and I got this frame, so a 1/4 inch would put me right on the edge there. So I'm gonna pre-drill those, in this case with a 1/8, and mount this bracket. All right, so we got this mounted, our 1/4 inch in, and one of the things, I pulled this out about a 1/4 of an inch, the cylinder, and locked it. And the reason for that is I'm gonna mark it. I'm gonna mark this where I put this bracket on with the door closed, right? I'm gonna close the door. So I don't want that to be all the way fully pulled in. I want it to have a little pull on it, okay? And then for that, all you really gotta do is take this. Let me get this set up there and I'll turn you back on. Now I can't do this and record because I got to hold the door closed. But all you want to do is get that kind of level. And you're going to put this on there and put your 2 marks on your door for your screws for it. And again, this is adjustable. So if you go in the middle of it, you'll have room to adjust it one way or another if you need to at some point, okay? But what I got to do, I got to hold this door closed with one hand, and I got to mark that with the other, so I'm not going to be able to capture that part on camera. All right, one thing about the top mount shocks seems to be more problematic is this gap you end up with. See that? Now, the way it lets the door shut is probably going to lock in. I could shim that. We'll just see. We'll just see how it does. You got to open the door all the way to see how the closure works. But I think I can adjust it and it'll lock in. Anyway, we're gonna put the door lock on now, and with the door lock comes this nice little template. Basically, all you do is line up your lock right here through this hole. It's 1 1/4 inch offset from the edge, as you can see. Right here, we're gonna need 3/8 hole, 3/8 hole in the top and bottom, and a 9/16 in the center. So all I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna set these up here. I'm just gonna mark these. Well, I'm not gonna show you that. I'm just gonna mark it with my 1/8 drill bit, and then we'll drill them out. All right, we got our holes drilled. And you just put your striker in with them 2 3/4 inch. And now it is time. Stick the handle in, just like that. And you want to sandwich it on the other side. Of course, you want to make sure obviously, that your screws and your locks are going to the inside, right? Make sure all that's going to the inside. And then that's just going to get, with the bolts, going to get bolted through there. So let me grab the bolts. Goodness, that pack is tough. Only you can just rip these things. When you're working, it's always a good idea to have a utility knife. All right, and we still got to put a striker in here. Let's see if this closes. Yeah. See if we get a little tighter, it'll take that gap out. So we got to put the striker inside. That striker is down here in the midst of some of this. Here we go, right here. Here's our striker plate, and we got our 2 screws for it right there. So what we're going to do is mount it in a little bit, if we can. I'm not sure how this recess here works. Oh, it's automatically going to mount in some. Okay, so we're going to mount it right here. All right, let me get that done. All right, now they got this cylinder adjusted and the door strike in, it locks, so my gap, just a hair at the bottom, nothing to worry about though, nothing that I'm worried about anyway. Let me see where I put mine. Okay. And then when we don't want this being used, we will simply put that in. Okay. Now, I need to slide that sweep down a little more. See that light coming in from over there? But anyway, I'm happy with it. You can lock it, so we won't leave this door open. Now this is 2-part really, this door. It does a couple of things. One is it keeps a lot of water off your inside door jamb. Now you can seal that up there if you want to. I didn't seal this one, but you can. It just really depends on, eventually we're gonna probably put a roof out here anyway, coming out some, but it does really help protect your door jamb and all of that. And I am going to have to, I'm going to need it because I have small dogs, so I don't think that they would jump in through here. Oh, this is magnetic, by the way. It locks back, but I think I'm going to have to put me a little, I may just pour me a little landing right on top of this that comes out about half of the deck. Which is basically going to add another step to the deck and probably get it up, you know, higher here so that it's more of a step in. I think once they figure out they can get in and out through it though, you know, they like to go out, so I think they'll be okay. But anyway, that's it. A Larson 32 by 80 with a pet door. It's about $319 at Lowe's. Now this is not by the specs, but this is how I do it. So you come 18 inches off the door jamb. I just run it through to that, so it doesn't have anything else. You're supposed to mount a piece to this door, but that's always worked for me. It gives you your 90 degrees or so. And again, that's there just to protect it if the wind happens to catch it when you go out. I mean, if you get caught in too bad of a wind, it's going to rip all that off anyway. So you always want to be cautious. That's just something to kind of try to help you out, you know. But anyway, all right, so that's going to conclude it for this door install. Appreciate you watching. I hope that in some way, for somebody, that it helped you out some. And if it did help you, drop me a comment. Appreciate it if you liked the video. And I do some of this content from time to time, so like the video, you know, subscribe to the channel. That would be appreciated too. So anyway, appreciate you tagging along. My prayer for you is always the same, that the Lord might richly bless you and that you might see all of your blessings as from him. Hope you have a great day.